Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Week 8 Connects You launch, and this week's theme is reflection. So we are finishing up the self-directed learning cycle. We've gone through all 5 stages. We start with setting a goal, making a plan of action to accomplish that goal. Then hopefully you learn something in the process. Then you show your instructor how and what you know. And then this is the 5th and final stage, which is to reflect on what you did, which is basically just looking back and thinking of thinking of your learning process and what you could do to improve or what you would do again. So basically just reflecting on your learning. Your weekly objective this week in Connects You, by the end of the week, you should be able to say, I can reflect on my personal traits and my current school experience to guide future decisions and experiences in school and life. So first of all, what is reflection? Reflection is serious thought or consideration. So through reflection, learners become aware of their own thinking process. Learners assess the why and how of the learning and determine what needs to be done as a result. And it's important for reflection to be transparent, so you should be able to share that with others. In other words, you need to stop and think about, so say you just did a project in the SLP. You submitted your project, you got your cognitive skills score back, and it's 3.5 and it's yellow, and you're really not happy with it. But instead of just moving on, take some time and think about it and think of what you did that you could do better next time, or think about what you can improve right now. So it's important to not just accept a grade for what it is, really reflect on that and reflect on your process of completing that so that you can do better in the next time. Why is reflection important? According to Guy Claxton, who wrote What's the Point of School? Powerful learners are reflective. They are able to step back and take stock of progress. They are able to mull over their actions and consider how they might have done things differently. Good learners are self-aware, able to contemplate their actions to continually grow their learning power. So also, learners need to be able to reflect in order to own or make decisions about their learning. So this goes back to what we did week 1 of school, which was owning your learning. Instead of being a victim and having victim thinking, you want to make sure you have a more of an ownership style and take ownership of your learning. Know that you're actually in control of a lot more than you think you are. Learners who can reflect are more likely to be engaged in their learning. And reflecting creates active learners. So that's really what we want at CPDLF, is to be more engaged and active in our learning. So there's 2 different types of learning, and that's active or reflective learning and also passive learning. So passive learning is where you read textbooks, you do whatever your teacher says, you take tests, and then you ultimately forget whatever it was that you thought you learned because you weren't really engaged with the material. You were just sitting there, you were present, but you weren't really learning. And this is still a habit that we are trying to break at CPDLF. A lot of you come in and still want the teacher to be in front of the room telling you exactly what you need to know and how you need to learn it. But this cyber school gives you the opportunity to explore how you want to learn and then really reflect on your power as a learner. So you have to be more engaged in your learning in cyber school, because we want active learners. Active learning is when you engage in conversations with your peers and teachers, you ask questions, you figure out the answers, you contribute and teach each other as well as yourselves. So through reflection, we challenge our assumptions, ask new questions, make sense of our experience, and in the process, put what we've learned into deeper memory as active learners. So if you're active and engaged with your material, you're more likely to remember this for the rest of your lives, rather than trying to cram through 150 algebra lessons in the last 2 weeks of school, where you're going to forget almost all of it. So it's better to take your time, stay on pace, be really engaged and active in your learning, and engage with your instructor. It's important to remember to make time to reflect. You want to do this on a daily, weekly, monthly, even a yearly basis. So think back to the goals that you wrote a few weeks ago. You want to reflect on those goals from time to time. So if you set short-term goals and you said, by the end of the week, I want to do this, when it comes time for the end of the week, actually look back and reflect on that. Did you accomplish that goal? If you did not, why? What could you have done differently next time? So it's also important at the end of the day to sit back and think, did I accomplish everything I was supposed to accomplish today? Was I as focused and determined as I need to be in order to be successful in cyber school? So just make sure you're making time to reflect and not just flying on to the next assignment. Some possible reflection questions. There are really 4 types of reflection questions. The first is backward looking. So an example would be, what problems did you encounter while you were working on this piece, and how did you solve those problems? The next is an inward looking question. Have you changed any ideas you used to have on this subject? The next is an outward looking question. And an example is, if you were the teacher, what comments would you make about this piece? And lastly, there's forward looking questions. And an example is, what would you change if you had a chance to do this piece over again? So these are just 4 sample questions. There's hundreds and hundreds of open-ended questions you can think to yourself, but these are just some ones to maybe get you started and really to start that reflective process. So for today's assignment, what I would like you to do, go back to today's assignment in Google Classroom. You're going to click Create and open a new Google Doc. That's right here in this image. If you go back and actually click into the assignment, it gives you the option to either add or create. You want to click Create Google Doc, and then that's going to open up and already title a document for you. So you're not going to have to do anything else. On that Google Doc, what I would like you to do is write down 5 words or phrases that you feel best describe you. Then what I want you to do is go back to that same list, and I want you to rank those words or phrases from 1 to 5. So assign each one a number from 1 to 5, 1 being what you like most about yourself, and 5 being what you like the least about yourself. Then all you have to do is go back into Google Classroom and mark it as done, so it tells me that it's done, and the assignment's already going to be attached because you created it through Google Classroom. All right, if you guys have any questions, please reach out to your learning guide.